AgustD and Jacket shoot sketch as a Bangtan bomb. I'm kind of surprised surprised and not surprised, because like sometimes we get them like right after the album came out, and sometimes it takes like a year.
Months. Yeah. I feel like, you know, part of it is you know, a strategy, especially if it's like a performance like the Grammy one we didn't get for like months afterwards.
Yeah, because like for the longest time it was also just like on the Grammy like channel, and then they were like, you know what,
you can wait. Yeah, you can wait for those things. But then, you know, we get like all these album sketches really come out like extremely quickly. It's like music video is released like 2, 3,
I mean,
4
it's
days
also
later.
part of their promotions when you think about
100%.
it. So it makes sense.
Yeah, and like, you know, we always on this channel, we love behind the scenes because it really gives us a nice in-depth of like what the thought process was, how things were shot. For me,
just a duality like, also. It's just like, thank you.
Thank you. You know, for me, it's like the how things were made really like gets my juices going. Like it makes me very excited and happy. Especially, you know, like I'm a filmmaker myself, so like having the behind the scenes really like gets my creative juices like excited about talking about these kind of things, especially when I know that I'm correct in like a music video breakdown that we do, where I'm like, I knew that that's how they did that.
That's like me like freaking guessing a bunch of shit in the past 2 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. It feels the exact same way.
I manifested it. That's what happened.
Rewarding. It's very rewarding. And this was no different. I feel like, you know, he definitely had a different approach this time approaching this particular music video, because if you saw our reaction or our talk last week about AMYGDALA, it you know, it's a very hard music video to watch, and I feel like he really went into his emotions on that one, and you can see it in the behind the scenes. Usually he's like very, you know, like talkative with crew and like very like, you know, like laughy and giggly, and this time it was very like, I need to be
it was a lot more somber, because he was like very much like detailing a bunch of things that are difficult to him.
Yes. So. The serious tone was definitely more in this than we've ever seen from music videos in this regard. But I think it's like it's a necessary step, especially if you're tapping in to emotions that are
it's a necessary evil in that way.
100%. Yeah, there's lots of actors who do that, where, you know, they don't want anybody to talk to them while they're filming, don't want anybody to like approach them or like have conversations with them unless it's like absolutely necessary, because they're so focused on what they're trying to portray.
Especially in like harder emotions that you need to portray. It's like,
100%. Yeah. Especially, you know, like when you're digging that deep to like find those emotional moments. And for like me, you know, you gotta like come back down from that as well. So like to take beats and be like, I can't talk to you right now because I have to like process the emotions I've just experienced and then like redo it for the next take. So I get it. I do, truly. We also got a bunch. So Suga's concert was last week in New York. The East Coast set it off really, really well. I saw a lot of, I don't know the set list or anything.
And we don't, well, I do, so you can DM me personally, but not at the podcast one.
No. Because I haven't seen anything, because as I said before, I'm going to the LA show, so I want to be like surprised at what the set list is and stuff like that. But I did see like, the audience was amazing most nights. Like, congratulations to you guys. You really like showed up, and
the signs were so wholesome.
The signs were so wholesome, and you know, the singing back shout
out to the armies that went dressed as tangerines, because there was a bunch.
Amazing. I love you.
Shout out to them.
Hilarious. Obviously like the fits were on point. I know that there was some issues with like some of the venues, and that's not on you, but I would say like, you know, be really respectful of your fellow armies. Like if they need help,
be respectful, be kind,
you know, like I know sometimes the staff like doesn't really understand how we operate as a fandom because we are quite different from a lot of other fandoms that they have been a part of.
Yeah, they think we need to be manhandled, and that's not the case.
And that's not the case. But I would still say, like, even if employees are being like rude and disrespectful, still be respectful to them, because we are the representation of BTS out in the wild. And the more that we can show kindness and respect, the more that that'll be portrayed that way. So, you know, just like take that. I know that there's obviously particular venues were a little bit more challenging than others this past weekend.
Because also, like, depending on where you are, like, weather can affect, like, a lot. So,
100%.
Be prepared, overall, be kind, be, you know, be your best self, you know?
Be the ARMY that BTS knows that we are, basically. Yeah. What would BTS do is basically the motto for that one.
It would close the Beehive.
But you know, he looked like he was having an amazing time. He said that in the Mets like multiple times of how like grateful he was being on stage by himself, and how terrifying that is when you're a part of a group for so long and you've been performing with
he's the first one doing like a full tour by himself.
100%. But we also the comfort, his brother was there. Jimin showed up at the last day in Jersey to support him for the last day of the East Coast shows.
I mean, he was in New York for a Tiffany event, so it just kind of made sense.
It just makes sense. But they did a live afterwards to sort of like conclude the East Coast trips.
Listen, I miss the Yoonmin lives so much.
So good. The fact that Yoongi's still begging Jimin to come and perform with him will never not be funny. I think that's the most hilarious thing ever. It's just,
I mean, didn't Kobe did the same when they did their post Kobe Palooza live? So
100%.
It's like if you would have told me, we could have done like Dynamite together. It's like, well, you changed the whole routine.
What are you gonna do? It's so nice to like see them obviously together. Like when we get our like BTS reunions, it's very like wholesome, and they're just so sweet. Like the conversations they were having back and forth about like how they appreciated ARMY and how much like they were singing to each other.
I mean, listen, just like the guitar with all the members' messages.
I cried when I saw that image.
And like Jimin added something when he went to the show too.
100%.
So freaking cute.
I think like some of the funniest moments too, like when Jimin showed up and Yoongi was like, "Hey, this is my concert. Pay attention to me."
Like, pay attention to me.
It's my concert.
Because everybody was like cheering Jimin's name. It's like, no, this is my concert.
This is my concert. Y'all are here for me. What do you mean? Also like his guitar string breaking.
Listen, did you see, like, I think it was the first day in New York when he had his glass of beer.
Yeah.
And he was just like making the cheers.
So funny. I also saw that he was giving out like free Hennessy at some of the shows. Sir.
He knows what's up.
He knows what's up. I love it. He's just having the time
just
of his life.
Bringing ARMY into his like pre-show tradition, because he said on Jimmy Fallon that he does a shot of whiskey with the crew, with the band, like before every single 100%. Show.
It's honestly like it's just so amazing to see. Like BTS is BTS when they're performing. They love performing, and the fact that the timeline is just so like happy and like buzzing with all this energy, I've missed this so much.
Me too.
It's like it's something that's indescribable, like genuinely. It's like
even if you like can't go to the shows, it's just like watching through like
all the
photos
and
everything. It's like you can feel it.
Oh, 100%.
And ARMY has a way of making you feel like you're there, even though if you're not.
Yeah. And when you're there, like, you feel, it's like an indescribable feeling.
It doesn't feel real.
It doesn't feel real because you're basically with, like, you know, thousands of people who understand exactly how you feel, even though, like when you go back, like I know when I went to like Las Vegas and LA and
listen, PTV LA Day 3 is like not just the best concert of my life, but like one of the best experiences of my life.
100%.
Like,
there's
sure.
there's something about being in a room with thousands of people who don't even know you, but can understand the way that you feel and how much you love and appreciate these men who've completely changed your life. It's like, you know, you get back and you're like trying to describe it to other people and it's like indescribable. It's like, I can't.
With a lot of other concerts, you get like post-concert depressions, you know? But then with BTS, you go like through that, but then after that, you're like, no, I'm okay.
Yeah.
It's like, this is something that needed to happen.
100%.
You know?
Yeah. I saw this like this one TikTok of this girl who had the very similar sentiments. It's like, I go back to work and I can't describe the feelings that I had when I was in a room with people who just understand you immediately.
It feels like you get like rejuvenated or something.
Yeah, it's like we give them energy, they give us energy, and it's like this perfect synergy. And you just feel so at peace, if that makes sense. Like, it's such a peaceful thing to be a part of something like that. And again, it's indescribable. Like, if you're not a part of it, you just don't get it at all. Anyway,
that just means you need to become an army. Just saying.
That's what I'm saying. So we did mention Yoongi was on Jimmy Fallon.
Listen, this man is too funny for his own good.
So funny. Oh my god, the D, like how he was describing how he came up with the name AgustD. I can't.
I don't think Jimmy was expecting that answer.
100% not. 100% not.
Thought I had like a super deep meaning or something. It's like, no, it's just like my hometown and Suga backwards.
I don't know what you mean.
He was like writing it down and everything. I'm like, it's really easy to remember.
I was dead, honestly. I was laughing so hard. And when they were doing the challenges, like, oh, so funny.
Oh my god. Okay. Yoongi taking like the tiniest lick of the salt. And then Jimmy being like, you have to do the whole thing. It was like, no.
No, I don't.
Never sounded more French in his life. Like his no sounded more like a no than a no.
Yeah, like it was so funny. I'm dying laughing. Honestly, like
such a good sport, really.
Such a good sport. We love that. And you know, he like obviously like broke down the album for us. We've like seen him break down this album like personally to us. So to me, that content wasn't necessarily like new content, but I really enjoyed, you know, I always enjoy when
I like when they talked about like they mentioned like the whole basketball thing in the NBA ambassadors. Like, are you the best basketball player in BTS? She's like, are you kidding?
I'm the only one.
Like was it in the AMYGDALA shoot they were like, you need to miss, and he just couldn't miss the freaking
couldn't miss. Couldn't miss. Yeah, I think like it's so funny that he was just like, I don't know why the NBA called me. Like, why do they need an ambassador? They're more popular than me. Like, I don't understand. Jimmy being like, no, I don't think so. will never not be funny to me. And
I'm sure you was really happy about it though.
Yeah,
It was like
100%.
You mean I can go to as many?
And he did like go to a basketball game at the last day of when he was in New York. So that was very wholesome.
Another jersey for his collection.
Another jersey for the collection. He also did perform Haegeum on the show. He's amazing as always. He sounded really, really good. It's not my favorite performance of Haegeum, but I still like, he's amazing. So
listen,
like, it matters.
Can we also just mention how Yoongi could not play the Haegeum, but then Jimmy kind of sort of did it.
That was also so funny to me.
Jimmy secretly Korean?
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Or is it just Jim in disguise?
We'll never know. We will never know. Genuinely.
New late night host, Jim and Fallon. It's happening.
It's happening. I'm willing it into existence. We also got episode 10 of SugaWoozI with WOOZI.
Listen, that was the cutest freaking thing.
So they are very similar, like, people.
Oh yeah.
Can we just like say that? Like, very, very
they
similar.
Also kind of look alike. Like they're literally doppelgangers in some ways.
They're definitely like long lost brothers, I feel like.
Yoongi finding someone that's shorter than him, apart
hilarious.
from Jimin.
Yeah, so funny. I also think like the conversation that they were having, especially because like WOOZI, if you don't know, like of the 17 members, he's definitely like writer, producer. He does basically what Yoongi does for BTS.
Yeah, exactly.
So their conversation was very interesting, especially talking about the dynamic of having so many members to contend with and also having it to be approved by all the members. Like Yoongi was saying, like in BTS, sometimes if one person doesn't like it, they're like, suck it up, we're doing it. Just do it. Whereas like 17 has a completely different approach where all the members have to agree on the song in order for it to be made.
And they're basically like double the amount of BTS members. Yeah. So
there's a lot of 17 members.
Yeah, there are 13
there's
members.
13 of them. But it's very interesting to like have to contend with all of these personalities and how he navigates, like how WOOZI navigates through all of that to sort of like make these incredibly complex songs with choreo and like
they've also like been together like long enough that I think at this point it's like not necessarily easier, but definitely easier than at the beginning because
100%.
Like they know each other like a lot more, obviously.
100%.
And I really appreciated just like Yoongi being like, "Oh, can I hear like the new, like your new song?" And WOOZI was just like, "Yeah, there you go." It was like. Also, it's an amazing song.
It's an amazing song.
Super is like amazing.
It's amazing. Like their comebacks are always so like
very detail oriented.
Very detail oriented, and also like their songs are very like punchy. Like they definitely have this like beautiful like pop mixture in there that makes them always so like energetic and just like fire. Like you know what I mean? Like they're just so catchy that they just like spread through your brain. Also talking about the hilariousness of always wanting to talk about music, but also not wanting to talk about music at the same time will never not be funny.
Listen, they mentioned that they want to collaborate together, and I need this.
Definitely, I need it to happen. And also like being you know, WOOZI was talking about how being so precise and being so like on all the time is a burden because it's always that expectation of being perfect, of being, you know, how precise they are, especially in choreography. Like if you've ever broken down a 17
is like one of the most synchronized group in all of the industry.
100%. And so that precision really comes with like a huge amount of burden because it's like, you know, you have to be perfect all the time. And it's stressful to like push that through, you know what I mean? Also, like WOOZI talking about the difficulties of becoming, because he has a solo album and song, or like a mixtape, I guess. And this is the first time that he's sort of like dabbled into this like solo realm. So to hear them like talk about it back and forth, especially because Yoongi now is so experienced with that, having 3 albums, well, 2 mixtapes and then full album to his name, is very difficult to like do and like be by yourself. And I think they have the same
finding your individuality, especially in a group where there's so many people, you know?
100%. Yeah. And I think, you know, Yoongi has the same sort of feeling because it's difficult when you've been with people for so long. You have like this sort of rhythm that you go through with your members, and then to not have that sort of support to like lift you up when you're like feeling those kind of ways, and you have to like figure it out by yourself. Very interesting, very, very interesting. And it's funny because I feel like BTS and 17 have the same relationship with their fans. Like Carrots and ARMY, we have a very similar relationship, especially because, you know, like 17 members are starting to get up in that age where they need to obviously go for their military service as well, so they're going to be taking breaks. But the fact that he said like how much he wanted to stay focused on Carrots and how much he wanted to stay focused on the fans and be like, we'll be there for you forever, is a very like BTS sentiment as well, and so I just felt that like beautiful camaraderie.
I feel like it's like a very like hype thing, like hype group thing.
Yeah.
It's just like fans first kind
Fans
of thing.
first, yeah, 100%.
Because
and,
like
you know,
TXT is kind of the same with
it's
BoA
the same,
as well.
yeah, 100%. And you know, Yoongi saying BTS will be BTS again, it just like makes my heart sing.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like you know, WOOZI saying what was interesting to me, because Yoongi asked all his guests this question of like, where in time would you want to be, would you want to go, and him saying the present is just such a perfect thought, because like being present, being in the moment, being, you know, able to just like enjoy the time that you have right now, it's like such a beautiful thing to me, because like everybody's like, oh, I want to like relive this, I'd want to like go into the future, but like being present and being in the moment is also so important. This is like the time that you'd want to be, and not having any regrets to like go back and change things is just, it's so good. It's so good. So if you haven't watched the episode, please go and watch it. It's so interesting, so fascinating. They like have this beautiful conversation about making music and how music drives them and fans and like all this kind of stuff. And I really think it's such a good watch. So definitely like go and enjoy it.
By the way, Yoongi, where's the IU episode?
Yeah, where is it?
I'm still waiting for that one.
Time is ticking, my friend.